to is Zero Energy Extraction Theory by Jeffrey Alexander Webb, with ChatGPT, which I guess makes it a very 21st century collaboration, right? Yeah, when I saw author list, I did a bit of double take. AI co-authoring physics theory, but let's get into what this paper is actually addressing. The fundamental question here is, can we build an experimental system that might extract usable energy from quantum vacuum fluctuations, the infamous zero-point energy? Right. And, people have been with zero-point energy for decades, mostly in fiction, but sometimes in, fringe research circles. But what makes this paper significant is that it's out assuming you can extract energy from the vacuum. Instead, Webb's approach is, let's actually design a system that could test that idea in a falsifiable, rigorous.
Exactly. So he's not chasing perpetual motion or anything that. The question is more, can we even imagine a system using all our fancy new quantum engineering that could, in principle, extract net energy from these fluctuations? Or are we once again running straight into the laws of Therm?
And the short answer, a really thorough investigation? No, you can't get from that stone. But what's interesting is how Webb's about this. He builds up a framework, simulations, experimental architecture, power, the whole works, all with superconducting circuits, squid couplers, and a really rigorous statistical and energy tracking setup. It's like the fail of experimental design, missing watts, les, or whatever. Yeah, it's practically a manual in how fool yourself when looking for small, noisy effects. The system, at the heart, is 8-resonator microwave network, where the couplings between resonators are deliberately limited, not maxed out, which is kind of counter-ind. Pretty often, people assume more connections mean better performance, but here, the show want structured sparsity, right? There's this optimal fraction, about 29% of all possible couplings, where you maximize correlations between without introducing destructive or just straight-up noise.
I like this point a lot. It feels like a lesson in life, too. Don't just connect everything to everything. Smart networks beat brute force approaches. And that's borne out in their correlation metric, is about of how in sync the resonators when they interact via these well-chosen links.
That's a principle you could apply anywhere. Structure density. But, this makes me think of, do you remember when big data was all about, collecting all the data? And now everyone's obsessed with signal noise and making sense of it? Anyway, data hoarding versus curation. The digression's legit. It's a recurring pattern, too. Even with all this control, ultra-sensitive measurements, and strict accounting for every possible energy input and output, the researchers never see a statistically significant net excess. Not once. That matches what theory predicts. The vacuum passive. You can tweak fluctuations, shape them, create stronger correlations, but you can get free energy out. And I think this is the big picture for anyone listening. There's value even in these negative results. The method is about setting the bar for how seriously you probe fundamental limits. Plus, the techniques and design principles, optimizing correlation structure, rigorous controls, are gold for quantum technology in general. Right. Academic research isn't about proving something uniously. It's about testing ideas and learning from where they fail, too. So if you hoped for a Star Trek power source, well, not today. But if you're a quantum engineer or someone who cares about experimental, is of a model.
Well said. So, the vacuum's not your next energy drink, but it does hold structure and surprises exploring, as bring your best skepticism along for the ride. And that's probably the real takeaway, structure, not wishful thinking. Who knew nothingness could be so instructive?